Greetings, MSPA members. I'm RJ Morgan, your Executive Director, and I'm here to welcome you back for another school year, one that will obviously be unlike any we have ever seen before. And I know some of you have already started classes. Many of you will start soon. Many of you are starting virtually, while others of you are starting in person, but with severe restrictions to your normal classroom routines. None of it is fun. It's not fun for any of us, quite frankly. But we're going to make the best of it, and we're going to do our best to help you make the coming school year a memorable one for your staff and students, not just for yourselves, but as official documenters and go-to storytellers for your entire school community. Because, like it or not, whatever happens or doesn't happen this school year is going to be big, big news. And it's going to be remembered for years and decades to come. And so we want to help you and your staff seek out the stories that are all around you, that are happening every day or not happening every day. And we want to help the students tell them with passion, with accuracy, and with maturity. So I have several housekeeping items that we need to go over that I'd like to share, and a few really exciting announcements. So in the interest of time, let's dive right in. First, our offices on the Ole Miss campus have finally reopened, and so I'm currently in the process of getting all of our spring award certificates printed, and the office tells me that I should be able to mail those out to you along with your plaques for those of you who earn those by next Friday. So I apologize for the delay on that. It was one of those quirky things that got shut down in the shutdown. And so now we're going to get those to you as quick as possible. I'll also be emailing you next week updated 2020 invoices for your publications. Remember, publication dues, we normally collect those in the spring. But since we were shut down, we did not. And so everybody needs to re-up for their publication dues for this school year. They're $25 per publication. And so please pay attention to that invoice as soon as you get it. I know $25 is not a huge sum, and it's a hassle to try to go through bookkeeping for a $25 check. But collectively, those are our operating budget. And so we really need you to get those handled as soon as you get the invoice that I'm going to send you next week. Next, I know that many of you in all of this turmoil are seeking lots of additional resources and helpful advice in how to navigate a lot of the things that you're being asked to navigate with little or no notice, and definitely with little or no training. And so the first place that I would tell you to look is JEA.org. Many of you are JEA members, and if you are not a JEA, Journalism Education Association member, then I highly suggest that you join. I believe it's $60 or $70 a year, but you get access to a trove of journalism curriculum information, slides, lesson plans, videos, quizzes, all kinds of things. It's a really excellent resource, and you want to connect with other advisors across the nation. JEA is a network of high school journalism advisors all across the country. But JEA, if you go to JEA.org right now, they have made selected parts of their curriculum available for free, and I'm going to put a link to just that particular site down below. But you want to go check those out and see if any of those can be of use to you. There are two particular roundtable discussions, taped Zoom roundtable discussions on there for broadcast and newspaper advisors, and then for yearbook advisors. And so those are extremely informative, and I encourage you to check those out. I'll link those specifically below as well. Beyond that, MSPA, us, we also want to try to help. And so we're instituting monthly Zoom roundtables for both editors and advisors. We'll do an editors roundtable on the first Tuesday of every month at 5 p.m. for an hour or two, and that's going to be led by Terry Casarino. So advisors of any publication type, editors of any publication type will be able to log in and communicate with each other about the struggles and challenges and successes that their staffs have had in navigating this uncertain semester every first Tuesday at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. And so the first one of those will be September 1. So mark your calendars for that. We'll also be doing monthly advisor sessions via Zoom, and they will regularly be on the second Tuesday of each month. So on the first Tuesday of each month at 5 o'clock, we'll have editors Zoom roundtables, and then on the second Tuesday of each month at 5 o'clock, we'll have advisors Zoom roundtables or presentations. Our first one of those, our first advisor roundtable, will be coming up really quick this Tuesday, August 11th. And that's going to be a roundtable on navigating the COVID crisis and the pandemic, and how you're adjusting your teaching and how you're adjusting your staffs, and how we can learn collectively from each other and how we're going to navigate this. So that'll be right out of the gate, our first extended session. So mark your calendars, and I'll be sending out a Zoom link first of next week on for that meeting. Conventions. MSPA traditionally has 2 statewide high school journalism conventions every year. We have our fall convention at the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg, and then our spring convention at Ole Miss in Oxford. We've set some tentative dates for our conventions this school year, but obviously realizing that with the pandemic, nothing is ever really set in stone. We're going to shoot for Thursday, October 29th, which will definitely be a virtual convention, and then Tuesday, March 30th for our spring convention, which right now we're hoping might still be able to happen in person. But we'll keep you updated with details on both of those, particularly the fall digital convention, as we go forward. Awards. Over the summer, your MSPA Board of Advisors approved several changes to our roster of awards. They expanded on-site contests from fall only to both conventions, and they expanded carry-in contests from spring only to both conventions. They also voted to rebrand and rename those contests in order to make them easier to understand for new attendees and for your communities and parents back home. So MSPA now has 3 uniform layers of contests. First, our Best of Mississippi Awards. These are what we consider to be our state championships. They honor the best of Mississippi high school journalism across a variety of different categories for both whole publications and individual stories, photos, etc. These contests are all free to enter, and they're open to all of our members. You do not have to attend anything, anywhere, to submit or to win. Now, because of that, we do put some limits on the quantities of submissions in a lot of these categories, but that's it. We're divided into 2 contest cycles for Best of Mississippi. We award yearbook and literary magazine contests in the fall. And then we award newspaper, online, broadcast, etc. Contests in the spring. The deadlines for those are September 15th in the fall and February 15th in the spring. Next, we have our Best of Show Awards. So this was previously what we called our carry-in competitions, where you would bring in, when you arrived at competition, works that were published after that semester's Best of Mississippi deadline, or works that were in progress, like unpublished yearbook spreads, etc., or just additional photos or videos or projects that they just haven't found a way to work into a publication just yet. Those contests are submitted digitally in the days leading up to the convention. Traditionally, these have been for attending schools only. So only schools attending that semester's convention could compete in the carrying contest, but we've relaxed that rule a little bit for the digital convention format. There's no limit on the number of entries in any category for Best of Show Awards, what we're now calling our Best of Show Awards, but they are $5 per entry to enter the contest. So there's a little bit of financial constraint on how many of those you may submit. And then finally, we have our Best on Site Awards. Now, these are real-time contests that are happening at one of our conventions, whether it's the fall or the spring. And so obviously, students must attend conventions to compete in these contests. That may include, it may be covering a press conference and writing a story or video, or being given a prompt for a poem, or to go out and film some on campus. We've got a lot of different ideas for how to make these Best on Site contests really awesome. And we're even going to try to do some of this in the fall, though we'll be doing a digital convention. So stay tuned for that. Again, on these contests, there are no limit to the number of students who can compete, but it is $5 per entry. So that's our basic contest structure. We feel like between those three levels, with this tiered approach, it really strikes a balance that offers students sort of a maximum number of opportunities to be recognized for their great work without creating an everyone gets a trophy type scenario that cheapens the significance of everyone's achievements. So since we made some changes to those this summer, I wanted to explain to everybody exactly what all three of our new contest levels are and how you compete for those. I will be attaching the fall and spring 2020-2021 contest packets for Best of Mississippi below, and then after the September 15th deadline for the fall, then I'll be emailing out to everybody this fall's carry-in. They're not called carry-ins anymore. They're called Best of Show contests. And then as we get closer to convention, we'll talk about our Best on Site contest options for the fall. Speaking of our Best of Mississippi contests, you'll notice a couple of changes that your Board of Advisors voted on this summer in your Best of Mississippi spring packet. The first is a simple one. We added a Best Anchor category to our broadcast division. So now not only do we have categories that honor Best Student on-camera news reporter, sports reporter, and weather reporter, but now we also have in-studio anchor as a category. The other change that you'll notice in your spring Best of Mississippi packet is that we've actually added an entire new fifth division to our contest structure. So MSPA has been operating with basically 4 different contest divisions or publication types. You've got yearbooks, literary magazines, news publications, which include print and online, and then broadcasts. Well, starting this school year, we are adding a 5th division, a 5th type of publication to our roster, and that is podcasts. We believe student-produced podcasts are a fast-growing medium, and that some of your students are doing some fantastic work, and so we want to get out in front of that and create some contests that will allow them to compete and to be honored for the work that they're doing. So you'll notice in your contest packet for this spring that there's a whole new page for podcasting awards. Those include Best Podcast, Best Sports Podcast, Best Live Stream, etc. So make sure that you check that out and make sure that you encourage your students to engage in some podcasting this semester. And then the last big thing that we're really excited to announce for this school year is that next school year is actually MSPA's 75th anniversary. We were founded in 1947, And so we're coming upon a pretty major anniversary for our organization and for Scholastic Media in Mississippi. And so realizing that our history is really just the collected stories of your history, this year MSPA is challenging staffs and students with 3 special student media history contests. We'd like all Mississippi high school journalists to spend this year looking into their own past, their own archives, seeing what the history of their publication is, its significance, maybe its tracking down some of its previous editors, or what big stories it might have broken, or how important their publication has been to their school and to their community. The 3 categories are that students could produce from this research. One would be an audio-video documentary project. So this could be a standalone film, a documentary on the history of a publication or publications at your school, or it could be a recurring segment on a TV show or broadcast that you produce, or a podcast, etc. The second category would be a web-based multimedia project where your students and your staff get together and tell the history of their publication or their school's publications online via some sort of digital method. And then the third one would be a print-based project. I realize the disorganized nature of this particular school year. It may not be perfectly conducive to doing something like this, but engaging students and challenging them and really pushing them on any of these 3 types of media projects is a really excellent way to sharpen their reporting skills, and might even replace some different assignments or an addition or something that you were planning on doing. This could be a really good vehicle to get students some skills, and also to have them earn a deeper understanding and a deeper respect for the history of not just your publication, but perhaps other publications at your school, or your school and your community itself. We realize that these projects are huge undertakings if they're to be done right. And so I really want to stress that it's important to look over this page in your Best of Mississippi packet right now. Talk with your staffs, decide what your game plan is, and get started as quickly as you can. We're going to have a different deadline for these 3 contests than we do for our normal Best of Mississippi contest. We want this to be a full year project for you and your staff. And so the deadline for these 3 student media history categories is going to be May 1. So we want all of you can turn them in early, absolutely. If that happens to conflict with other events or a yearbook deadline or something else that you've got going on, you can submit them at any point during this school year. But we absolutely want to get all of these turned in by May 1. We want these to be big, robust, really valuable products that then we will take and we will award winners at the fall of our next year, which will be the start of our 75th anniversary celebration. And so we've got a lot of things in the hopper, a lot of big ideas planned for the 21-22 school year. And so we want to make your staff's and your school's stories, your school publication stories, a really big piece of our 75th anniversary celebration in 21-22. So please, if you take anything out of this video, it's that I want you to look at those contests, talk them over with your staffs, and really try to push them to make these the best that they possibly can be. To help you get started, we've asked our resident archival journalism expert, Lane Hughes, to lead our September advisor Zoom meeting and to talk about archival journalism and keeping up with your archives, looking through and organizing what archives you do have, what to look for, what story ideas you might be able to pull out from those, and how you and your students might use what exists and then pair it with new reporting and new work that they do to create some of these student media history product entries. So make sure that you attend that with Lane. I believe that's about it for right now. Obviously, there'll be lots more details and developments over the next few weeks and months, but I just wanted to communicate with you at the beginning of the school year and share all of this information with you and tell you what we were looking forward to, what your colleagues have put together, and what we're going to do convention and contest-wise this school year, and to really encourage you to attend those advisor Zooms every month. Those can be really beneficial to use the listserv on our email to communicate with each other. Nobody knows what you're going through like each other, including me. But I'm here for you as a resource as well, and I can connect you with other resources depending on the situation that you're trying to solve. But it's going to be a hectic year. It's going to be a crazy year, but it's something that we'll all have to work through and survive together. And I truly believe we will. And I tell people all the time, when bad things are happening, when big things are happening, that's news. And so it's going to be a stressful time, but there's not going to be a more relevant or exciting time for you and your students to be out publishing stories and doing some of this stuff. And so, as frustrating as it is, enjoy it. And that's the message to send to students, is to enjoy it. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe and stay in touch, and we'll see you very soon.